What's up, guys? We're here with our first Monday Night Football action of the NFL season here in Week 1. We have the Minnesota Vikings going on the road to take on the Chicago Bears, and we're going to do a deep dive on that matchup. We're going to look at some player props and our picks against the spread and on the over-under. We are also going to break down every single game on the MLB slate here on Monday, so buckle up. We have a great video for you today. Slam that like button and subscribe to the channel to make sure you keep seeing these videos every single day, and let us know what you're thinking in the comments. I personally read and answer every comment I get. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and you should definitely check back a couple of times throughout the day to see if there are any changes with injury news coming out and starters being confirmed. Yesterday, guys, a very, very busy Sunday out there, as I'm sure you know. And in a crazy Week 1, we had a little bit of a mixed bag, as you expect here in the early weeks of the season. We got off to a great start with the Browns, plus 5.5. That was a 17-16 loss there for Cleveland in a game where they honestly played way better offensively than the Bengals did, but a couple turnovers from Flacco and a running game that couldn't get going didn't help at all. So we'll take the win regardless. Those 5.5 points coming in very, very clutch. Unfortunately, we got too cute for ourselves there with Miami at +1. Turns out Tua maybe sucks. The running game looked decent in limited action. The passing game didn't do much, and the defense had absolutely no answer there for the Colts rushing attack or for Daniel Jones. In Week 1, it seems kind of unavoidable you're going to have one of these kind of games, and picking the Dolphins was definitely our worst play of the week, but it's Week 1, guys. You got to take some chances. We really don't know these teams that well yet. We did hit the Raiders at +2.5, though. A well-played game there by the Las Vegas team, coming out on top 20-13 behind a very big game there from Geno Smith. And while Genti didn't have the success I would have hoped for, Brock Bowers in the passing game took over, and the defense was very reasonable in a nice win there over the Patriots. So good stuff for the Raiders. We had the misfortune there to be on the Seattle Seahawks at +1.5. They didn't play great, but they could have won this one straight up. The defense was very good, holding McCaffrey in check and getting a couple interceptions, but Darnold on that weird play where he bumps into the offensive lineman there at the end of the game ends up costing them a chance at the end. They probably weren't going to win that game anyway, I guess. I mean, that was been a very clutch drive, but they looked alive in that one. Fortunately for the premium bettors, they were on San Francisco, so they take the win there. We also got sucked in on the Lions. Maybe I bought a little bit too much into the hype from them last year. A 27-13 loss, a game where they couldn't really run the ball since they were down 10-0 right out of the gate. Jordan Love and company, the Packers, lived up to all the hype, and their offense was very, very impressive. Definitely a lot of things to go back and correct there for the Lions. Can they do that? I think it's possible. Will they do it? We'll have to wait and see. Now, we were still live on our favorite game of the day. That was the Ravens there on Sunday Night Football, and they're up 20-13 at halftime here at time of recording, so we'll see. Hopefully they can come through. That will give us a 3-3 day, and I'm going to be 100% honest, guys. Anybody that's been in this business long enough knows that coming out 500 on Week 1 of NFL is really kind of a win, because things can get very, very weird here in the first few weeks of the season. So we'll be happy if we end up 3-3. Obviously not what we're going for, and not what ended up happening for the premium members, I'll tell you that. They ended up having a positive unit day, but we're going to go ahead and hop over. Now we've got a bunch of games to look at today. We're obviously going to break down Monday Night Football, but then we've got all those MLB games to look at as well. So let's go ahead and dive in right off the bat here. We're going to be looking at the Minnesota Vikings going on the road to take on the Chicago Bears here on Monday Night Football. The Vikings came out of nowhere a little bit last year to finish things up 14-3. Obviously second there in the NFC North by a whisker. Just one game behind Detroit. Obviously they won their first 5 games of the season. They finished the year by winning 9 of their last 10. They were great, honestly. Now, it's going to be quite a bit of a new look this season for Detroit. Obviously, they were a very good team there offensively, a very solid team defensively as well. Will things look the same this year? Well, I think they're going to be vaguely similar, but there are some big changes, obviously, and number one being J.J. McCarthy now under center. I'm expecting them to, use him as well as you could possibly expect here. They've got a history of getting the most out of quarterbacks. Ask Kirk Cousins if they were able to get the best out of him and see what he's done since he's left. But yeah, I think J.J. McCarthy's going to be fine. I don't think there's going to be some maestro back there, just throwing the ball down the field constantly, but he can make plays with his legs. He can do all kinds of positive things. The kid had an amazing track record in college. I'm expecting at least some of that to transfer over here in the pros. We love Aaron Jones there in the backfield. That seems like a massive plus. They've got the best wide receiver in the NFL in Justin Jefferson. I actually think adding Adam Thielen to the roster is going to be an underrated addition. I think he can do some positive stuff, and I'm expecting pretty good stuff from this offensive line as well. Defensively, plenty of holdovers from last season. I'm expecting them to run it back and be a very solid defensive unit this season, and obviously having one of the best defensive coordinators in the game not really a negative there. So I'm expecting pretty big stuff from the Minnesota Vikings this year, coming off of a big season a year ago. Their opponent in this game, the Chicago Bears, they went 5-12 last season. Obviously, a really bad back half of the season after that, debacle there where they lost to that Hail Mary attempt. So we'll see if they can regroup here. Obviously, a big question mark is what exactly are they going to get here from Caleb Williams? Is he going to mature and, progress, or is he going to look worse? A lot of things were reworked for the Bears. Their defense is supposed to be way better, and they finished up last season very good at the end of the year defensively. Offensively, though, a lot of weird stuff going on. The offensive line is supposed to be better this year. We'll see. They're about to be severely tested here by the Vikings in week 1, so we'll see how that goes. A lot of question marks still for the Chicago Bears, kind of across the board. Obviously starting with Caleb Williams, but that's going to be very important. But I think DeAndre Swift's in for a pretty good season. DJ Moore can do some big things. I'm not necessarily in love with Loveland there at tight end. We'll see how that goes. The offensive line, will it actually have improved? Maybe. Kind of hard to know right now. A big question mark is how good this defense is going to be here. If they can pick up where they left off last season, that is a big step in the right direction here for the Chicago Bears. So we'll see. Obviously, plenty of unknowns here in week 1, but we've got some stuff to go off of, and I have a few things that I like in this game. Now, looking at the numbers here, the Bears are getting a 1.5 at home. We've got a total of 43.5 in this one. Minnesota, they went 11-6-1 against the spread last year. Kind of as a team coming out of nowhere, you would expect their against the spread numbers to be good. 4-3-1 against the spread on the road, and they were a 500 over-under team on the road. The Bears went 8-7-2 against the spread a season ago, 5-2-1 against the spread at home, and a 500 over-under team at home as well. Guys, J.J. McCarthy really being handed the keys here in what amounts to basically his first season. Brian Flores is going to make life miserable there for Caleb Williams in week 1. I think we're going to have, watch him have a really tough time. We've seen Caleb Williams try and pull that college stuff where he's scrambling backwards. That's not going to play here in the NFL, where everybody's basically as fast as you are, Caleb Williams. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, a new coaching staff here around Caleb Williams could end up helping. Maybe it'll help. Is going to help here in week 1 right out of the gates. Seems like a big ask to me. Guys, I'm going to be leaning towards the Minnesota Vikings on the road in this one to pick up where they left off. I know we're leaning pretty hard on a rookie quarterback right out of the gate, but how far removed is Caleb Williams from being a rookie quarterback himself? Not all that much farther removed than J.J. McCarthy. So we'll see which guy plays better in this matchup. I'm willing to take the Vikings here, especially in a situation where I think Brian Flores is going to bring the heat on Caleb Williams, and I have not seen enough of him handling that competently in his career to have faith in him. So I will definitely be taking the Vikings on the road in this one. In terms of the total, I'm going to lean towards the under. There's some pretty good trends pointing in that direction. The under is actually 7-0 in the Vikings' last 7 Monday night games as favorites. The under is 7-1 in the Bears' last 8 home openers. And the under is 6-1 in the last 7 Monday night games at Soldier Field. So those are some pretty good trends. Both these teams are going to want to establish the run if they possibly can. Both quarterbacks can run it. All that's going to amount to the clock moving very often, not big chunks of yards being gained. And honestly, it's not the tiniest number, like 43.5. I think we could see an under in this game, certainly. Now, on the side of some player props, I don't have a ton that I like for this game, but I've got a couple that I think are reasonable. I like a long shot here, a little bit of a flyer on Adam Thielen to score a touchdown. Back with his old team, he had a very productive year when he was healthy last season for the Carolina Panthers, a team with pretty mediocre quarterback play across the board. So I think we're going to see him look pretty good. I will also take J.J. McCarthy's under on passing attempts. I'll definitely take under 31.5 passing attempts at -110. That's probably my favorite prop out of these two. I think he's going to, be asked to hand the ball off quite a bit. I think the running attack will work here against the Bears defense. Maybe it won't. This is week 1. Weirder things have happened, but I just don't see him really getting 30 plus passing attempts in game 1 of his NFL career. That seems a little bit bonkers to me. Hey guys, hopping here with a quick shout out to the sponsor today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB, UFC, NFL, and college football picks. Major League Baseball has been one of our most profitable sports of the last several years in a row and has had a great 2025 season. Overall, NFL got off to a profitable start there in week 1, so very good stuff there. At StumpTheSpread.com, you'll be able to see exclusive free picks that are only posted there, our free-to-use bet size calculator, and our premium top confidence picks, which might not, usually will not always match what you see in the video, as I'm not the premium MLB, NFL, or NCAA football handicapper over there. We've got a team of experts, each individual with more than a decade's worth of experience covering these sports, and we got off to a decent start there in week 1. Now, the MLB plays there from yesterday. Sunday was a little bit rough. Well, we did break the Royals. There's a 1-unit play, but cashed the no-run first inning there in that Boston-Arizona game. cashed that Cleveland no-run first inning as well, but the Astros lost for us as a one-unit play, and the no-run first inning in that Milwaukee-Pittsburgh game didn't come through, so a 2-3 day there on baseball wasn't exactly what we were looking for, but on football, while the props didn't do great, that's why we always keep much smaller unit sizes on the props, the sides went pretty well. The against the spread plays did work out. We had the Jets plus 3.5 as a one-unit play. That was a nice win. The Bengals minus 5.5. That one did not work out as a one-unit play, but the 49ers on the money line as a one-unit play, that one hit. And the Commanders, that was our biggest bet of the day, guys, at minus 6.5. That was a 3-unit play, and the Commanders dominated that matchup against the Giants. So very, very good stuff there for the Commanders right out the door. Obviously, the Dolphins didn't work out, but cashing a 3-unit play and a couple 1-unit plays translated into a nice little profitable day there for the NFL premium members. So definitely get over there to stumpthespread.com, get in on those premium picks if you're interested. We got a full slate of MLB coming up, and there'll be MLB picks every day of the week. Football on the days where there is football. There's NCAA football picks throughout the week, and you want to be on the premium side, guys, because those picks can come out early, and you want to be able to take advantage of those early lines when you get the chance. So definitely get over to stumpthespread.com to check out the premium stuff, but you want to check out all the free stuff we offer over there too. We've got free picks posted over there every single day. They're exclusively posted there. We also have our free email newsletter, and it's a great resource. Every single day you get an email with at least one free pick, oftentimes 2 free picks, information on parlays that we think are good value, information on niche sports betting like golf, NASCAR, tennis, all kinds of good stuff. Big write-ups coming out on NFL and NCAA football as well. So it's just a fantastic resource. Any serious sports bettor, you definitely want to check that out. It's absolutely free, straight to your inbox every single day. If you have trouble getting it though, definitely check that spam folder. Every once in a while they can end up in there. But also, guys, if you're a huge fan of what you're seeing here every single day, you want to click that little join button right below the video to sign up for a YouTube channel membership. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos, get a name up on screen in every single video, but more importantly, they're eligible for our members only giveaways, and you're about to see one right now. The way these members only giveaways work is we put the name of every single YouTube channel member on a big wheel. We spin that wheel that you're about to see us spin right now, and whoever it lands on gets a free Stump the Spread hoodie mailed straight to their whatever address you give us. So we're going to go ahead and roll this wheel here. Let's see who the winner is right now. We had like 92, 93 channel members at time of recording, and it looks like the winner of the Stump the Spread hoodie this week is going to be John Wittig. John Wittig, get in the comments. Let us know that you see that you won this hoodie. We will get your information and get that mailed out to you as soon as possible. You can have your hoodie in as little time as like a week, depending on obviously where you live, but also depending on how quickly you can get in touch with us. So let's get that set up for you. Get down in the comments, like I said. But guys, we got to dive back in. We've got an awful lot more games to get into here. A very, very busy slate of MLB on top of that Monday Night Football action. And first up, we're going to be looking at the Kansas City Royals going on the road to take on the Cleveland Guardians. Now, the Royals just finished up a 3-game set there against the Twins. They won 2 out of 3 in that set. They are 73-70 on the year. Definitely still keeping their heads above water, staying very much alive there in the wild card hunt out in the American League. They are currently 2 games back of the Mariners. So very, very closely contested right now. This series against the Guardians is very important. They're going to kick things off here, handing the ball to Ryan Burkert. He's 2-1 on the year, a 2.61 ERA. His last start, excellent work there against the Angels. 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 earned run allowed. Over his last 5 starts, he's given up 1, 2, 1, and 2 earned runs. The last time he faced the Twins, he was very, very good. That was a while ago. The last time he faced the Guardians, I don't think he has not faced the Guardians yet this year. So we'll see what Burkert looks like in this exact matchup. But the way he's been throwing the ball, I'm expecting him to be very, very good out there. The Royals bullpen has not been much of a concern this year. A 3.56 bullpen ERA is currently 4th best in all of Major League Baseball. So that's very impressive. The offense, I'm not going to use impressive as a word to describe the Royals offense, but 1-11-2, 4-3-1 over their last few seems about normal. They're 27th in the majors in runs scored. They're 18th in batting average, 24th in on-base percentage. Witt leaving the Royals win there with low back spasms. We don't know if he's going to be able to play in this game. If he sits out, that is a big, big deal for this offense. So that's something to definitely keep an eye on in this game as they head to Cleveland to take on the Guardians, who at 72-70 on the season are playing great. They just won 3 out of 4 there at Tampa Bay, pretty much knocking Tampa Bay out of the mix. Won the last game 2-1, been winning some very, very close games there for sure. They'll hand the ball on this one to Slade Ciccone. He's 5-6 on the year, a 4.78 ERA. He's coming off a terrible start, getting demolished there by the Boston Red Sox. In terms of history here against the Kansas City Royals, has he faced the Royals this season? I'm not sure. No, he has not faced the Royals yet this year. So we'll see what this young right-hander looks like. Obviously, he's got some decent stuff. He can have good outings, but he can also have debacles like he just had against the Red Sox. So this is something of a bounce back spot, but if you're asking me who I think has the better starter in this matchup, it's definitely the Royals. In terms of the bullpen, it's pretty much a toss-up. The Cleveland bullpen's been solid all year long as well, and the offense also has not been much to really get excited about, guys. They scored 2-3-7, 2-8, and 7 over their last few games. They're 27th in the majors in runs scored. They are last in batting average. They are last in on-base percentage, and they're going up against a very solid starter in this one. So, looking at the numbers for this game, the Royals are plus 105. The Guardians are minus 120. We've got a total of 8 in this game. The Royals, they're 33-35 on the road, 34-33-1 to the under on the road. Cleveland, 35-33 at home, 33-32-3 to the over at home. First up, I think no run first inning is extremely live in this game. I also think under 8 is extremely live. I like those plays probably better than I like the side here. I will take the Royals at plus 105. I think Ciccone is not nearly as good of a starter as Bergert. I think the Royals bullpen is very good. The bullpen's basically a push. In terms of offense, they're both terrible, so I think it's going to be a low-scoring, close game. That makes me like the underdog, but I definitely like under 8 and the no-run first inning considerably more. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Washington Nationals heading to Miami to take on the Marlins. The Nationals at 58-84 on the year have been well out of the mix for quite some time, but they did just win 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. That was after sweeping the Marlins in a 3-game series. Now they get to run it back here against Miami. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Cade Cavalli, who's 2-1 on the year, a 4.85 ERA. His last start was actually very solid against the Marlins. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, only 5 days ago, something like that. So yeah, very good stuff in that 5-2 win. He's been a bit all over the place, which, I mean, for a 27-year-old starter, you can expect some inconsistency, but maybe not quite as much as he's shown. He hasn't been up with a big league team for that long coming up in August, so we'll see what he looks like out there on the mound in this one. I mean, he's going up against a team he already has success against, so I think he'll be fine. Will that Washington bullpen be fine? Well, over the course of the year, they've been the worst bullpen in the major leagues, so I'm not expecting miracles. Offensively, they scored 6-2-5, 10-5, and 2 over their last 6 games, which isn't terrible for a team that's 24th in runs scored and 25th in slugging percentage. It hasn't really been an easy year for the Nationals at the plate, especially in the second half of the season, so to see them in the ball a little bit better probably gives fans some hope for next year. Their opponent in this game, the Marlins, at 66 and 77 on the year have been way better than projected. They did just take a game off the Phillies, winning 5-4 in the last game of that series to snap a 5-game losing streak. We'll see what they do here hitting the ball to Jansen Junk. He's a 6-2 record on the year, a 4.09 ERA. Coming off the 15-day IL after that elbow complaint, he hasn't pitched since back on the 23rd. So we'll see what he looks like in this one. His last time on the mound, he was decent, and he was very consistent, giving up 3 runs a game over his last 3 starts. So we'll see what he can do here against the Nationals, a team that he has not faced since back in mid-June, and he was dominant in that performance, guys. 5 2/3 innings, 2 hits, no runs allowed, struck out 4 and walked 0, I believe. Yeah, and a 4-3 win. So good history here for Jansen Junk. Is he fully healthy? We'll have to wait and see a little bit. The Marlins bullpen, backing him up, not great. A 4.36 bullpen ERA is not exactly what you dream of. And the offense hasn't been great either. I mean, 5-2-3, 5-2, and 0 over their last few games. It's not ideal. They're 19th in the majors in runs scored this year. They're 22nd in the majors in slugging percentage. Just not a lot of great numbers coming out of the Miami Marlins here down the stretch. The offense has struggled a bit. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the Nationals are plus 110. The Marlins are minus 130. We've got a total of 8 in this one. Washington's only 28-42 on the road, 35-30 and 5 to the over on the road. The Marlins are 31-39 at home, 37-33 to the under at home. This is a bit of a weird spot for me because we don't really know the health situation of Jansen Junk. If he's fully healthy, I do like the Marlins here, but it feels a bit sketchy to me, so I will take the Marlins, maybe a slight lean towards the over in this one, but nothing major from me coming out of this game. Next up, guys, we're looking at the New York Mets going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Phillies in a very important NL East showdown. Now, I say that the Mets come into this game 7 games back of the Phillies, so they've got an awful lot of work to do. They just lost 2 out of 3 at the Reds. They are going to hand the ball in this one to Nolan McLean. He's 4-0 on the year, a 1.37 ERA. This young 24-year-old phenom looking great. He's only made 4 starts, but all those games have been wins for him and wins for the Mets. So very good work beating the Phillies. Once already, he went 8 innings, gave up 4 hits and no runs while walking 0 and striking out 6. Are they suddenly going to be able to hit this kid? We'll see. I guess it's a possibility the odds makers are considering, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, the Mets bullpen has not been as good down the stretch. Obviously, it was early in the season. A 3.97 bullpen ERA is not amazing. It's not like they had an amazing series there against the Reds, so we'll see. We'll see what it looks like here. Now, the offense getting shut down by the Reds, I guess isn't that shocking. They had a really tough time there against Hunter Green in their last game, so we'll see. They need to be playing better. They obviously have to be at least somewhat worried about their situation in the wild card hunt, even if they're probably not going to catch the Phillies. They're only 4 games up on the Giants and the Reds there in the wild card race. So no time for a slump here if you're the Mets. Now, they, offensively, they've been okay, not great in that series against the Reds. So a lot of things need to fall back into place here for the Mets as they head to Philadelphia. Now, the Phillies, they come into this game obviously 83-60 on the year and riding high. Although Turner injuring his hamstring, that's not great. You don't want to see the NL hits leader go out. They did just win 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. They won 2 out of 3 against the Brewers. They're doing what they need to do right now. They're hitting the ball to Aaron Nola, who's 3-8 on the season, a 6.78 ERA. His last start was against the Brewers, and it did not go well. 5 innings, 6 hits, and 6 earned runs. Start for that struggled against Atlanta in his 6 innings, but that was the game the Phillies won 19-4, so it didn't end up mattering. We'll see what he can do here against the Mets, a team that he had a decent kind of start against back in April, but obviously that's been a minute, so we're not going to take that too much into consideration in this one. Now, the Phillies bullpen's been atrocious this year. A 4.29 bullpen ERA does not fill me with optimism. The offense, like we were talking about, has been getting the job done, but 4, 9, 2, 3, and 10 over their last few is not amazing hitting for a team that's 10th in runs scored, 3rd in batting average, and 8th in slugging percentage. So we'll see what they can do at the plate here against McLean, one of the hottest pitchers in the majors right now. So look at the numbers. The Mets are -115. The Phillies are -105. We've got a total of 9 in this game. The Mets are 31-39 on the road, 33-30 and 7 to the under on the road. The Phillies are 45-23 at home. That's an MLB best at home. 33-31 and 4 to the over at home. I don't care about those trends, guys. I'll definitely lean a little bit towards under 9 in this game, but better than that, I'll take the Mets and McLean at -115. I don't see any reason this should be this short of a line. I definitely think there's some value to be had here on the Mets. Are they playing amazing? No. Are they going to turn it on to play the Phillies here? I absolutely think they will. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Milwaukee Brewers heading to Texas to take on the Rangers. The Brewers just swept the Padres pretty comfortably in that 3-game series at 89-55 on the year. They're 7.5 games up in the NL Central, so I think they're feeling very, very good about the way things sit at the moment. They're hitting the ball in this one to Jose Quintana, who's 11-5 this year, a 3.72 ERA. He bounced back a little bit after a tough start there against the Diamondbacks. Have a decent, but maybe not dominant start against the Phillies. 6 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs allowed his last time on the mound. So pretty decent work, and he's going up against a kind of offensively challenged team there in the Rangers. He hasn't faced them this year, but I'm expecting Quintana to be pretty solid out there despite pitching on the road in this one. The bullpen for the Brewers has been much better down the stretch than they were in the early goings this season. It's not a top-tier bullpen, but it's definitely good enough to get the job done. The offense popping off for 10 runs in their last game against the Pirates has to be a very welcome sight. They've been a bit up and down recently, but over the course of the year, guys, they are 2nd in runs scored. They are 2nd in both batting average and on base percentage, and they're 12th in slugging percentage. This is a very, very dangerous team at the plate. They are going to manufacture some runs on you. So we'll see what they can do here on the road against the Rangers. They come into this game 74-70. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Astros, so well played there. At 74-70 on the season, they're definitely right there in the wildcard hunt. They're only a game and a half back of the Seattle Mariners for the last wildcard spot in the American League. They're going to hand the ball in this game to Jacob Laz. He comes into this one sporting a 3.15 ERA. His last 2 outings have been starts, and both have been pretty reasonable. 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs against the Angels. 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs against the Diamondbacks. Both of those were pretty solid outings. Now he's going to take on the Brewers here, not the easiest team to face, and not a team he's faced this year, so we'll see what they get out of him. I'm expecting him to be relatively solid, and the bullpen behind him has been good as well. The Rangers bullpen has not been a big problem this year, so we'll see. The problem confronting this team has been their lack of offense. They've scored 4-0-4 over their last few games, but 0-3-7 in the games before that. They've been banged up at some points. They're 20th in the majors in runs scored, 26th in batting average, 26th in on base percentage. All of that seems, kind of standard at this point for this team. So we'll see what happens in this game. Looking at the numbers, the Brewers are -120. The Rangers are +100. A total of 8.5 out there. Milwaukee's 42-29 on the road. That's actually an MLB best road mark. 35, 33, and 3 to the under on the road. The Rangers are 43-28 at home, a very solid home team. 44, 26, and 1 to the under at home. I'll consider under 8.5 in this game. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, but better than that, I like the Brewers on the road in this spot. They just are the better overall team. I expect them to find a way to put up some runs here. Obviously, the Rangers are playing with more desperation, so that would be the one thing that I would be worried about in this game, but I definitely think the Brewers with Quintana on the mound are in a pretty good spot in this one. Next up, we're looking at the Minnesota Twins heading to LA to take on the Angels. The Twins snapped a 6 or 7 game losing streak there with that win at the Royals in Game 3. They're out of the mix. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Simeon Woods-Richardson, who's 5-4 on the year, a 4.53 ERA, coming off a good start against the White Sox. 5 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs, 2 of which were earned, but that was in a game we eventually saw the Twins get shelled. Before that, he struggled quite a bit. We'll see what he looks like here against the Angels, but this is not a starter that I've had much faith in this season or even last season, and the fact that he had an okay start against the Angels back in April doesn't really bother me too much. So we'll see what he can do, see that Twins bullpen can find its way into something positive. It's been pretty brutal down the stretch. A 4.62 bullpen ERA is not what you want to see, and the offense hasn't been great either. 5-2-1, 8-3-3 over their last few games. They've had their injuries this year as well, but 24th in runs scored and 24th in batting average doesn't exactly paint the picture of a functioning level, MLB offense. So we'll see what they do against the Angels at 67 and 76 on the year. They're better than I thought they would be, but they have lost 3 out of their last 4. They did get a win in Game 3 there against the Athletics, but after getting blown out in Games 1 and 2, that doesn't look great. They'll give the start in this one to Caden Dana. He is 0-0 on the year, a 4.91 ERA. This is his 4th outing of the season, his 2nd since being up with the big league club here in September. And 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run allowed there, and a 4-3 win against the Royals paints a picture of a young guy throwing the ball really, really well. This kid's kind of a monster. He's only 21 years old here on a big league mound. I don't expect him to be consistent, but I do expect him to have pretty electric stuff. So we'll see what he can do here. Not a very good bullpen behind him, obviously. The Angels bullpen has had more than its fair share of problems, and the offense has really disappeared down the stretch. 4-4-4, 3-4-5 over their last few. Offense was the strength of this team back when it used to have a strength, but they're 29th in batting average and 28th in on-base percentage. So not an offense that I'm super high on. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Twins are plus 105, the Angels are minus 125. We've got totals out there of 9.5 or 9. Minnesota's 27 and 44 on the road, 36, 32, and 3 to the under on the road. The Angels are 34 and 37 at home, 39, 28, and 4 to the over at home. I do lean a little bit towards under 9.5 in this spot, to be completely honest, but much better than that. I'll just go ahead and fade Simeon Woods-Richardson. Give me the young starter and the Angels here at minus 125. Playing at home, I think this is a game they win the vast majority of the time. Rapid fire through these games, we're looking at the Cincinnati Reds heading to San Diego to take on the Padres. The Reds have to be pretty disappointed to still be 4 games back there in the National League wildcard race, but we'll see what they can do down the stretch as they hand the ball in this one to Nick Lodolo. He's 8-7 on the year, a 3.22 ERA. His last start, he really struggled against the Dodgers, but he's had some good outings mixed in as well. We'll see what he does down the stretch. It's going to be very important for them that he is able to be a solid member of this rotation. The last time he faced the Padres, he had to pitch out of a lot of trouble, but only gave up 1 earned run over 5 1/3 innings in a 3-2 win. So we'll see what happens this time going against the Padres. Could be a little bit of a mixed bag, but he's a lefty. Maybe that can help him out a little bit in this spot. The Reds' bullpen has not been nearly as bad down the stretch as they were at some points this year, but also not nearly as good. A 4.04 bullpen ERA could certainly use some work. They did just win 2 out of 3 against the Mets, but the Bats were not too hot in that series, scoring 3, 6, and 4 runs respectively. Over the course of the year, they're 13th in runs scored, but 21st in slugging percentage and 16th in on-base percentage. So they're going to have to get those bats to warm up a little bit down the stretch if they want to earn that last wild card spot. So we'll see what they do here against the Padres, who just won 2 out of 3 against the Rockies. They are currently 1 game back in the NL West. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Yu Darvish, who's 3-5 on the season, a 5.75 ERA. This veteran starter has been all over the place this year. His last 2 outings not great against Seattle or Baltimore, so that's not ideal. We'll see what it looks like here against the Cincinnati Reds. Not a team he's faced this year, but I don't expect miracles on a nightly, Yu Darvish isn't very reliable at this point in his career. So we'll see what he can do. The Padres bullpen's been probably the best bullpen in the majors this year. Them or the Giants. Clear number ones there. The offense, 8-10-0 in that series against the Rockies. Looks okay. 23rd in runs scored, 24th in slugging percentage, but 6th in batting average and 8th in on-base percentage. we'll see if they're able to continue to get get runs across the plate like they did their last couple of games. So looking at the numbers for this one, the Reds are plus 130, the Padres are minus 154. We've got a total of only 7.5 in this game. The Reds 32-37 on the road, 38-30-1 to the under on the road. The Padres are 43-25 at home, 36-29-3 to the under at home. I'm leaning a bit towards the over in this game. I think one of these two guys is going to crack, maybe both of them. So I could see some offense here. I don't love this play necessarily. If you're begging me for a side, I am going to lean just slightly towards the Reds here, fading you, Darvish, but there is no chance that anything from this game ends up in the pinned comment. I don't really trust where either one of these teams are at the moment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the St. Louis Cardinals. They're heading to Seattle to take on the Mariners. The Cardinals are a 500 team. Once again, they just won 2 out of 3 against the Athletics and 2 out of 3 against the Giants. Right now, they find themselves sitting 4.5 games back in the National League wildcard hunt, so still not quite out of it. They're going to hand the ball in this one to Miles Mikolas. He's 7-10 on the year, a 4.89 ERA, but he's coming off back-to-back good starts. Now, let's not get too excited. Those starts were against the Pirates and the Athletics, but he threw the ball really well in each one of those outings, and the Cardinals won in each one of those starts. So big positive stuff for Mikolas, who hasn't had that many things to feel positive about this season. So we'll see what he can do. We'll see what the Cardinals bullpen can do. It's been excellent this year. No complaints from me there. A 3.58 bullpen ERA. Very, very good. The offense for the Cardinals has faded drastically down the stretch. 4-3-2, 5-2, and 3 over their last few. Not generally going to get the job done. They're 16th in runs scored. They're 17th in batting average, 27th in slugging percentage, and most of those numbers are falling. So yeah, not exactly a powerhouse like they were over the first 80 to 100 games. So we'll see what they do here against the Mariners, who just won 2 out of 3 against the Braves. They need every one of these wins they can possibly get. Their 2.5 games back of Houston in the AL West. They are currently clinging to a 1.5 game lead there in the American League. So we'll see. They're going to hand the ball to Brian Wu in this game. He's been their best starter this season. This young 25-year-old is 12-7 on the year, a 3.02 ERA. He's coming off a mediocre start against the Tampa Bay Rays, where we saw Seattle eventually lose 6-5. His start for that was pretty good against the Padres. Overall, he's thrown the ball really, really well this season. We'll see what he can do against the Cardinals. Not a team he's faced this year, but I'm expecting pretty good stuff from Brian Wu, especially in this matchup, and so are the odds makers, guys. So looking at the the bullpen for the Mariners, it hasn't been as good as the Cardinals down the stretch this year. It struggled a little bit. The offense, blowing things up there the last couple days, scoring 18 and 10 respectively there against the Braves. I don't think they're going to have quite that much success in this game, but they do come into it swinging some pretty hot bats. 12th in runs scored, 20th in batting average, and 11th in slugging percentage this season. Cal Raleigh, 53 home runs. You'll love to see it. So looking at the numbers for this one, the Cardinals are big underdogs at plus 180. The Mariners are minus 220. We've got a total of 7.5 in this game. The Cardinals are 31-38 on the road, 35-30-4 to the over on the road. The Mariners are 41-27 at home, 34-30-4 to the over at home. I will lean just a hair towards the over in this game. I just don't trust the under, especially this time of the year. But in terms of the side, I'm not going to not take the Mariners here, guys. Give me Brian Wu and the Mariners. I know minus 220 is not a great price, so if this does make the pinned comment, it will be as the lock of the day. But with the way Mikolas has been throwing the ball, probably not going to make the cut. Next up, guys, we got the Arizona Diamondbacks. They're heading to San Francisco to take on the Giants. The Diamondbacks are a 500 team now. They just won 2 out of 3 against the Red Sox, and as a 500 team there in the National League, they're not out of the mix. They're 4.5 games back. So we'll see what happens if they can make a run here. They're hitting the ball in this one to Nabil Crismatt. He comes into this game sporting a 2.14 ERA. His last couple of outings have looked very, very good, giving up 2 earned runs against the Brewers in a 6-4 win and giving up 2 earned runs against the Rangers in a 5-3 win. So he's helping this team put wins on the board. You can't really ask for too much more than that. We'll see what he can do here against the Giants. Not exactly an offensive powerhouse. Now, the bullpen situation for the Diamondbacks has not been great this season, but it hasn't been nearly as bad down the stretch. A 4.71 bullpen ERA, though, does definitely leave room for concern. The offense still cruising, guys. 4, 5, 10, 2, and 5 over their last few games. They're holding steady at like 5th or 6th in the majors in runs scored. They're 5th or 4th or 5th in slugging percentage. Like, despite trading off lots of guys there at the trade deadline, they are looking very, very reasonable at the plate. So we'll see what they do here on the road against the San Francisco Giants, who at 72 and 71 are right there in the mix as well. They're 4 games back in the National League wildcard hunt. They'll hand the ball to their ace, Logan Webb, in this game. He's 13-9 on the season, a 3.17 ERA, coming off a decent, I guess, start against the Rockies. I mean, 5 innings, 7 hits, and 2 earned runs. It doesn't really scream domination to me. He gave up 7 hits at the start before that against the Cubs. we'll see how dominant he looks here going up against the Arizona Diamondbacks, a very good offense that did touch him up a little bit back in late June. So we'll see. I'm a little bit worried about this spot for Logan Webb, if I'm being honest. The Giants' bullpen, I'm not worried about. One of the best bullpens in the majors all season long. The offense, though, they've scored 3, 2, and 8 over their last few games over the course of the year. 18th in runs scored, but 25th in batting average and 23rd in slugging percentage. This is not, certainly not, a top-tier level offense. Looking at the numbers, guys, the Diamondbacks are plus 160. The Giants are minus 190. We've got a total of 7.5 out there. Arizona's 34 and 38 on the road, 34, 33, and 5 to the under on the road. The Giants are 35 and 34 at home, 38, 28, and 3 to the under at home. I'm not interested in the total here, guys, but my dog of the day has a very reasonable chance of being the Arizona Diamondbacks at plus 160. A pretty steep underdog, but I've liked what I've seen from Chrismat recently. Logan Webb, not so much. This Diamondbacks offense is legit, and the bullpen hasn't been a complete disaster. I think Arizona's got a real chance to win this game. Next up, guys, we've got the Boston Red Sox heading to Sacramento to take on the Athletics. The Red Sox just lost 2 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks, but did win the last game of that series at 79 and 65 on the year. They're 3.5 games back of Toronto for the top spot in the AL East. They are really looking in great shape there in the American League wildcard hunt, so they don't have to be too worried about that, and they're handing the ball in this game to Garrett Crochet, who should really make all their worries disappear. He's 14 and 5 on the season. His last start was not great. 6 innings, 9 hits, and 7 earned runs allowed there against Cleveland. Very, very weird stuff. Boston did slug their way to a win in that one, but it was not Crochet's fault. So we'll see what he can look like this time here. I mean, he's going up against the Athletics, a team that he has not faced all year long. No, he has not faced the Athletics this season. Okay, kind of weird. We'll see. We'll see what he can do against the Athletics. I'm expecting him to go out there and be very, very good. I don't think that's a big shock to anyone. The Boston bullpen has been excellent down the stretch this year. A 3.48 bullpen ERA is third best in the majors. The offense, 7, 1, 5, 1, 11, 6, and 5 over their last few. A little bit of a dip there. They're still 6th in the majors in runs scored and 5th in batting average, so I'm not too worried, but there have been some ups and downs recently. So we'll see what they do here against the Athletics, who at 66 and 78 are pretty much out of the mix. They did just win 2 out of 3 against the Angels. They'll hand the ball in this one to Luis Morales, who's 3-0 on the year, a 1.59 ERA. This young 22-year-old's been pretty freaking good since coming up to the big leagues so far. I mean, very, very good work his last time on the mound. 5 and 2 innings, 5 hits, and 2 earned runs against the Cardinals. That's after going 7 innings, giving up 2 hits and no runs in a 7-0 win against the Detroit Tigers. So we'll see what he looks like here against Boston. We'll see how deep he goes into the game. Once he comes out, that is a problem for the Athletics. They've been one of the worst 4 or 5 bullpens in the majors this year, so that's not ideal. The entire offensive situation, they're very feast or famine. They scored 10, 17, and 3 runs there at the Angels in that series. So we'll see what that looks like here. They've got a very talented group. They're 11th in runs scored, 4th in batting average, 3rd in slugging percentage. So not a team that you can take lightly at the plate. So looking at the numbers for this one, guys, the Red Sox are minus 178. The Athletics are plus 150. We've got a total of 8.5 in this game. Boston's 34 and 37 on the road, 38, 32, and 1 to the over on the road. Sacramento, they are 29 and 40 at home, 35, 30, and 4 to the over at home. I don't like over 8.5 in this game at all. I would lean towards the under. I also think no run first inning is live in this one, but I think if you're begging me for a side here, I'm going to be taking the Athletics at plus 150. Morales has just looked way too good. Getting 1.5 to 1 feels really, really nice. Crochet has looked hittable recently. I know the Red Sox bullpen's excellent, but those Athletics backs can get the job done, so I will lean slightly towards the Athletics here at home. Last but not least, guys, we've got the Colorado Rockies heading to LA to take on the Dodgers. No numbers out for this game at time of recording since we have no starter listed for the Dodgers yet. The Rockies just lost 2 out of 3 against the Padres and having a historically bad season. They'll hand the ball in this one to Chase Dollander, who's 2 and 12 on the year, a 6.77 ERA. They've really left this 23-year-old out there to take his lumps this year. Really struggled against the Giants. Had a good start against the Astros, but hasn't had a massive amount of success this season. We'll see what he can do against the Dodgers. He got shelled by them the last time, so I expect him to really flounder in this one, and it's not like the bullpen behind him is any good. I think the Rockies bullpen will continue to be terrible, and the offense has been pretty suspect as well. They have had the occasional good night, but I'm not expecting any miracles here. They're taking on a Dodgers team that at only 1 game up on the Padres there in the NL West needs every single win they can get. Ohtani hitting a couple home runs was very helpful as they needed that win to snap a 5-game losing streak. They're just not playing great right now. We don't have a starter confirmed for them, so we'll see how that goes. It'll have to be a wait-and-see spot, but I'm not loving life right now if I'm a Dodgers fan or a Dodgers player, if I'm being honest. So we'll have to wait and see on this one since there's no numbers, but life not looking easy for the Dodgers at the moment. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today on an action-packed Monday. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. I'm more than happy to get back to you. Thanks to everyone for watching. Make sure you're clicking that link in the description to get over there to stompthespread.com. Check out all the premium picks over there covering MLB and NFL and UFC and NCAA football. Also, free picks over there, all kinds of good information. Get on that email list as well. Guys, we'll see you right back here tomorrow, same time, same place, for more sports betting action.